Hello, everyone. I wanted to go over the calendar for the first few weeks of class since we will be asynchronous these first few weeks. Remember, our first class that we will be face-to-face synchronous online will be July 10th. So you'll see in Blackboard, and I also have this document linked in Blackboard, that you have one assignment to prepare for the first class, June, or the first week of class, that is June 19th is the due date for this first assignment, is to create a Flipgrid video. Now, if you haven't done one before, they're very easy. So I want to show you, you've got a join code here. All right, when you go to Flipgrid, you're going to see a screen like this, okay, flip, and you don't need to log in. You don't need to sign up. Instead, you just put in the join code. So you put the join code in this box. All right. And then you will get to this page here, this LTIC for 2520. And you can click down here where it says introduce yourself. And you can see I've made a video in front of my house sitting under a tree. You can just click record and then talk about your experience with English learners. If you don't have experience with English learners, that's fine. But if you've known some students over the years who are English learners, if you worked in clinicals with English learners, if you've been an English learner, you can talk about a little bit about that. Also, your area of study as an educator. Are you elementary? Are you high school, middle school? What subject area? And then something that you're looking forward to this summer. All right, so you'll put that in, you'll click record. You can do that if you don't like your first recording. There'll be options to do it again until you're satisfied. The video should only be a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and then we'll be able to look at those and get to know each other a little bit before class starts. And also I can get to know you before class starts. You do not need to submit this to Blackboard. It's on the Flipgrid site, but on Blackboard there is an assignment where you should indicate that you did finish. All you need to do is write in a note, finish the video, or I've completed the Flipgrid. And then we will see those videos here. Go ahead and look at your colleagues' videos. It's a way for you to get to know each other as a class. All right, so just going over the assignments for the first few weeks. These modules are all on Blackboard. So in each week, it's the assignments due for the next week are here. And this is generally the topic, some of the things we're doing the topic of that week. So the module 1, the assignments for June 26th, you'll be watching a video, reading a short article, and then reading the first half of a book of Borders and Dreams, responding on the discussion board. All right, make sure that you post your comments and then also respond to 2 other people's comments. That's also part of your points. And so Blackboard discussions are 15% of the grade. The next week, you'll also be doing another discussion board. You'll be reading the second half of Borders and Dreams, which is a PDF. It's linked in to the Blackboard. So you do not need to buy of Borders and Dreams, although you can find it online. It's out of print, but you can find it, but that's why I put it on Blackboard for you. All right, and you'll be watching these 2 videos. This gives you a context for the lesson planning that we'll be doing later in this methods class. So these are important things to be familiar with. When we come back, we will have a discussion about Borders and Dreams, and you'll be writing a book reflection on that. All right. So then our third week, that is asynchronous before we meet. So what is due for July 10th? July 10th is when we have our first synchronous class. But you will need to read the first 3 chapters of Fairbairn and Jones' Vote. That's differentiating for English learners. And make sure that you get, here's a picture of it, the second edition. It's the blue book, Differentiating Instruction and Assessment for English Learners. I just refer to it as the Fairbairn text or the Fairbairn and Jones' Vote book. It's different than the first edition, which I know is cheaper. There's a red edition. There's a different number of chapters. So make sure you get the blue edition. You can get it on Amazon. You can rent it. It should be in the bookstore. It's a very useful textbook. And we will be going each through it chapter by chapter. After the first 3 chapters give you background, each chapter will give you information on differentiating. So it's a very important text that you have that. So make sure if you haven't ordered that or bought that, make sure you get that. All right. And you will also be, so of those 3 chapters, you'll be selecting 2 quotes from each chapter and reflecting on why they're important. And you'll be submitting them to a Blackboard as an assignment. Written assignments are 15% of your grade. So those will just come to me, and you'll have to have those ready for the class discussion. So we'll be talking about that on the 10th. The third thing, the assignment important that you have this ready for July 10th, is you will be writing a draft of a lesson plan. And I emphasize this is a draft. This is not expected to be polished. Some of you have written lesson plans, I'm sure, but there's always some students who have not, and that's perfectly fine. If you have never written a lesson plan, don't panic. This is a great way for you to get introduced to lesson plans. I have a little bit of a video of lesson planning example here to give you an idea about lesson planning. You can look up a lot of ideas online about lesson planning. You will use a template to put the information to. The template is linked where you don't have to have the whole thing filled out, but put in the some of the activities you're thinking about doing. So it's important, even now, start thinking about your what you want to do for your lesson plan. So start picking out your grade level. So it can be kindergarten through 12th grade. So if you're an elementary teacher, any pre-K, if you're early childhood, pre-K to kindergarten, or elementary, anywhere from the kindergarten to 5th grade. So you might do 3rd grade. If you're a high school, you have a subject area, then you have to decide, is it, this is a 9th grade class, a 12th grade class, middle school, same thing, 6, 7, 8. Think about the subject. All right. So if you're a history teacher, within that subject, what will you want to do? Will you want to do some kind of geography lesson, ancient history, Civil War? If you're doing math, are you doing geometry? Are you doing, what are you doing within those lessons? So start thinking about what you want to do. Do you want to do kindergarten science? And then start thinking about the theme. Are you going to do butterflies or electricity? All right, so be thinking about those things, because on the week of July 3rd, you should be working on that and have that ready for July 10th, a draft. Many people change their lessons a lot, so don't worry if you whatever you write down, you can always change it. If you have a lesson already developed, if you've done clinicals and you've written a lesson plan, you may reuse that lesson. That's not a problem. Go ahead and put that into the template, because the main work you'll be doing will be differentiating then that lesson. So don't hesitate to use a lesson that you want to work on. So if you've developed a lesson for 7th grade language arts, that's perfectly fine. Put that into the template. You'll see, what you need to have in the template, and you can work with that. Or if you know other teachers that have some really great lessons, feel free to borrow some of those ideas. As teachers, we have so much work to do. We don't have to reinvent a lesson every time. And as I said, the work that you'll be doing is after we meet on the 10th, I will explain how we're going to then differentiate and adapt your lessons for the different levels of English learners. All right. So I just wanted to give you a heads up. Remember, we will not meet online synchronously until July 10th. And after that, we will meet each week from 5 to 7:40 online. And we'll go to Blackboard Collaborate on the Blackboard site. I'm still kind of adding things into the Blackboard site, but you have what you need to get started. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me. I'll be in a different time zone for a few weeks, so I might not get back right away, but I will get back as soon as I can. So as I said, email me if you have questions. Go ahead and read through the documents. The calendar and the modules are on Blackboard. The syllabus is on Blackboard. And reach out and let me know if you have anything that you want clarified. So I wish you all a great start to the summer. Make sure to kind of keep up with the work. There is a lot of reading. It's a reading heavy class. The great thing though, I think about doing the work, the reading that gets done early in the class, is there's not as much to do toward the end of the class. The class is a little bit front loaded, a lot of reading, a lot of working. Then each week you'll be doing a draft. Another draft of your lesson plan. You'll be adding differentiation, and by the end of the class, then you'll have done most of the work. All right. Well, I look forward to meeting you all face-to-face synchronously online on July 10th. All right. So take care. Bye-bye.